Frage. Jetzt geht's gleich weiter mit einem Künstler aus Köln. Er sieht gar nicht aus, als wäre er aus Köln und er trägt den Namen Ant Utama und er spricht auch gar nicht so fließend Deutsch. Richtig, Ant?
Richtig, leider, das ist
Richtig.
richtig.
Wie lange bist du schon in Deutschland und sollen wir das Interview auf Deutsch machen oder lieber auf Englisch?
Ich kann einfaches Dinge auf Deutsch sprechen. Also ich bin in Deutschland seit 2 Jahren jetzt.
Und
Ja,
hast wann Deutsch gelernt?
äh, hast wann?
Wann hast du Deutsch gelernt? Hast du vor 2 Jahren erst angefangen?
Ja, in Deutschland. Nur in Deutschland.
In Deutschland hast du erst
Aber
Deutsch gelernt.
als Sprecher ist es so schwierig. Die Grammatik ist, oh,
Ja,
ich
dafür
habe
ist es aber super.
Kopfschmerzen.
Dafür ist es wirklich super, ja, weil ich kenn andere Leute, die seit mehr als 20 Jahren in Deutschland sind und schlechter sprechen. Aber gut, ich würde sagen, let's switch to English because it might be easier for you. So
Okay.
you are from New Zealand, and I read you gave up a 9 to 5 job in marketing, which where you had a comfortable income. And said, I'm gonna go to Germany and I'm gonna make music. So I pack my backpack, up and away to Germany. Music. I get into the streets. I stand in the streets. I play there. Why on earth would you do that?
Well, so actually, it's I have a German girlfriend, and so she was actually living with me in New
Okay,
Zealand.
okay. That's a good reason. Yeah.
And then she said, "I want to go back to Germany," and so I said, "Yeah, of course, I'll come with you." And it was at that moment that I decided I didn't want to do what I was doing in terms of work. I was working, as you said, in marketing in an office in that standard routine. And I just used it as a chance to reset completely. And music has always been my passion, but I had never been brave enough to pursue it. And so what is a better excuse than moving to the other side of the world? And so that's what I've been doing for the last 2 years.
Yeah. And did it work out well for you, or how do you perceive it?
Well, it's been, it was obviously difficult at the start. I didn't know anyone in Germany, especially in the industry. So as you mentioned, I started playing music on the street, which was a great experience. I was lucky to have people so kind and generous to me, and also just playing for hours on the street. It's very good practice, and you get better at what you do. So I worked very hard, and I was building a foundation, and then suddenly COVID happened, and so it really, I mean, everyone here put a big kind of pause on all of our progress and almost a few steps back at the same time.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, it started well. The first year was a great year, and then the second year was very challenging, and it still is. But I'm optimistic that the situation will improve towards, in summertime and beyond.
Yeah, I think the worst is behind us. Yeah, we just have to hold on right now, and we're gonna make it through eventually. How would you describe your music? What is it you're doing?
So I am, I'm a typical pop singer-songwriter. So I'm a big fan of the likes of Ed Sheeran and Bruno Mars, and so that sort of sound is what's reflected in my music. But in terms of what I have today is just an acoustic guitar in my singing. So it's it's acoustic and it's very organic.
Your song's called Your New Home, and I guess it's about yourself from the title. Yeah,
it's actually not really,
okay,
but it kind of is. So like the background is that there was a terrorist attack in New Zealand nearly 2 years ago now, and basically 2 mosques were attacked. Basically this guy had it was just a racist and full of hatred, and so he attacked 2 mosques and killed 51 people. And so,
Oh.
yes, they were obviously all Muslim, and many were refugees and immigrants that had moved to New Zealand, which is supposed to be a safe country, from countries where maybe there's corruption or civil war, or it just wasn't safe, or there were not opportunities. So it's such a shame that they had moved to a new home, and this happened. And so, and it's relevant because here in Germany, I think just a week and a half ago was the 1-year anniversary for the Hanau attack. And so, I mean, it's not specific to a particular place. There is still racial tension everywhere you go. And so this song is a tribute to the victims of that attack, but also a message to say we should just get along.
Exactly my point of view. So, but what that tells us is basically racism is everywhere, no matter where you go.
Yeah.
And I think we really need to evolve as a species and get away from all this. Yeah, good for you to write a song about it. Your New Home. Let's listen to it.
You were just a little girl, your folks moved here to start new lives. You bought into the idea that your future would be bright. Your new home, you wouldn't have to hide. So you started here from scratch, made new friends on your first day. You felt safe for the first time, out in the open you could play. Your new home, wouldn't have to hide. But evil comes in many forms, ignorance comes in many shapes. The world is under raging storm in your new home, and it took your precious life away. A world of hate is a world in to keep up. All the other kids were nice to you. You found people you could trust. Your new home, you didn't have to hide. But you never would forget your roots, so you never should. Your beliefs were at the heart of you, and people understood. Your new home, didn't have to hide. But evil comes in many forms, ignorance comes in many shapes. The world is under a raging storm in your new home, and it took your precious life away. A world of hate is a word in candle shining light.
I personally liked, of course, the cause and the message of your song. It's about Christ Church, and I think it was a very classical songwriting, very straight voice, very straightforward, and from the street musician perspective, I think you, well, Christian, if you agree, and got all it takes.
Yeah,
right.
Man, just keep going. I think it's a, you get great personality. The story is good, being from New Zealand, that the take on sort of, racism and terrorism in other countries. I was deeply touched when you told the story, how people, they come from, places where they feel in danger and they come to a place like it hits them there. Classic songwriting, all good. I just think a little bit more sophistication. So some of the lyrics were a bit saying, what I wrote down, he said, "We are all the same," or something like that. I think that has been said in many songs.
Okay.
And because the message is fine, but I think that some of those parts can be a little bit more elaborate. But I guess that just comes with the practice. Some parts were really good, others were a bit, not that sophisticated.
Okay.
And also, I would love to hear how the production will actually sound, because I totally see where you see like Bruno Mars and Ed Sheeran, but then if you listen to what Ed Sheeran does now, it doesn't really sound like the idea that you sound like early Ed Sheeran, but what he does now is far advanced from that. And even if you look at guys like Lewis Capaldi, there's so much electronics and modern dynamics in the songwriting. So I think what you do is great for playing on the streets. I think if you move to the recording level at some point, it will be important to not sort of look back at what Ed Sheeran sounded like 10 years ago, but be like, what does modern like singer-songwriter folk pop music sounds like.
When I have released a few singles and they are like much more electronic sounding. Particular song because I think it suits more acoustic for this message, but in general I am more electronic. But it's just at this point I don't have a band, just still trying to build the foundation. So
I think that can be a strength that you don't have a band. So you need to add more electronic elements. Like if you have a band, you're stuck to a pretty classical pattern of instruments, which is not really resonating these days.
Okay.
So being on your own, you're sort of forced to work with beat makers with more electronic elements, which makes the sound, more modern anyways.
Yeah. And so what so I see that that's where music is going, with the more electronic beats and using producers to create beats rather than the traditional band setup. But how is the best way to, when it comes to performing live, when it comes to performing on, say, at a festival on stage, do you still need a band behind you, or is it enough having someone working Ableton in the background? Or like, from your perspective, what's the best way to approach this?
I don't know. I think Ed Sheeran played Wimbledon solo 3 nights in a row.
He did a loop. So he's good with a loop pedal.
You can do a lot of things on your own. I'm a big fan of loop stations.
Yeah.
I think loop stations can create a good atmosphere.
Okay.
But just keep going.
Cool. Thank you very much.